Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 10th of January. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, we came down to the monthly pivot eventually yesterday. Now it's a case of, are we going to be bouncing from here, or are we going to see a more significant rollover on the euro? We've had quite a correction over the last couple of months or so. It may be that, as I say, this is just a correction within that correction, effectively, of the euro in terms of its running from the lows to the highs. Is this now going to push back up? But this is quite a key point where we are. It might just overrun through to 21. So if it starts pushing on much beyond, we've got this trend line that to watch out for. Let's just draw this on here. They've got this trend, sort of trend that is sort of sitting in, this upward trend that is sitting in. If it starts challenging that, well then things may change. It may just sort of be looking back towards these prior lows here. But for now, just looking at the reaction this morning off this monthly pivot, coming down the time frames. Then there's also the weekly S3 there, so it's sort of quite in the 4 hourly 100. There's quite a lot of support at the moment, but it's whether or not you can hold on to this. As I said, if it starts breaking, and there's a trend line below between the two lows here, I'm just wondering if we start breaking through that. Well, we may see a test yesterday's lows, and I'll be looking quite closely even there to see whether we start breaking. If a break, well, the S1 would come in with a moving average there. Otherwise, this trend could continue. As the euro, the pound, it does look bearish from a trend point of view. The pound itself, well, the pound is a bit more consolidated. Still hasn't come back towards its monthly pivot. If it's still sitting on that daily 8, and if it can break that, well, then the monthly pivot looks a lot more possible in terms of what we're seeing here. Looking at the chart here, we've got on the 60-minute chart, we have got the daily pivot untouched above, but at the moment there seems to be dollar strength coming through this market, and as I said, it could just see us push down towards yesterday's lows and onwards more, and maybe onwards then to the monthly pivot. Dollar yen, well, gaining strength here. Looks at one stage it's going to soften yesterday and later in the day, but eventually it's broken the sort of trend out of the lower side of this line here, and it's continuing with some strengthening here, and we could see that, well, this running down to the daily S1 maybe at some point, maybe beyond. There's that 200 just in the way, but it is in a relatively strong downward trend. Whether or not we get some sort of bounce this morning, it may give opportunity for further shorts, but at the moment it's well, as I said, it hasn't got the dollar. It hasn't got the strength against the yen at the moment, that's for sure. Aussie dollar held up well up until now with the commodity prices, and well, it's not doing too bad here. It's just again bouncing off its daily 8. It's not really showing me too much. It's a real solid consolidation that we're seeing here. I would suggest a break of these lows. We'll see probably the opportunity of more of a sell-off, break of the highs and through that daily pivot. Well, it could run up further, obviously, but it is with these lower highs, lower lows, looking more bearish than bullish at the moment. But maybe a reaction to the daily pivot today may give some sort of downward sell. But as the commodity prices are holding up pretty well, it's held up pretty well, and it may continue to do so. Canadian dollar, well, gave away some gains yesterday, but still, again, pretty much like the Aussie, it's a bit more consolidated. It's when you come down to the 4 hourly chart, you see how consolidated it is. Even if I sort of zoom in a little bit there, it's quite range bound. So it's again a difficult one. There is the potential for it to run off down towards its daily S1 that's below, continuing that way, but it's in such a tight range at the moment, not particularly easy to trade. Okay, that's it for me. News-wise today, there's not a lot, although we've got some UK data at 9:30, manufacturing production out at 9:30. Thereafter, there's very little crude oil inventories later this afternoon, which may give the oil price a bit of a kicker at 3:30, but not a lot of significant news out today. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.